I'm afraid to say, ladies and gents, the winter break is here. I know, it's annoying, it's frustrating. Over 100 days until the next Formula 1 weekend, and I know we've got winter testing, and I know the build up to Christmas is lovely. But I want my Formula 1, I need my Formula 1. So, here's the deal. Daily Formula 1 content right up in the build up to Christmas, kind of like an advent calendar, kind of juiciness, thingamajigger. That's what we will go with. Each day, I will be doing a brand new driver review, starting, of course, with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Max Verstappen. It's a complete random order. I have the order, I know it, but it's completely random, so there's no, I don't know, order in terms of best to worst, in terms of championship position. It's random. So what I'm thinking is that over on Instagram I'll do a little teaser the day before, but apart from that you won't have a clue. Keeps it fresh, keeps us kind of guessing. So if you are new around here, feel free to subscribe. Let's crack on with our first driver review for 2019, Mr. Max Verstappen, leader of the Orange Army, the Flying Dutchman himself. What a start he had in 2019, in the very first race of the season, all the way back in March, the Melbourne Grand Prix, that first race with Honda, picks up a podium. Pick up a podium's always a bit of a mouthful, but he did it in their very first race together. All of that scepticism over the winter completely thrown in the bin. Brilliant job from Max there. Wins seem to be, especially in those early stages of the season, seem to be a little bit out of reach for the moment, but considering the troubles Honda had with McLaren, and even the 2018 season, I know it seems quite a long time ago now, the troubles they had with Honda, reliability wasn't brilliant. Straight away you could see this wasn't going to be as bad as they had feared, as bad as I had feared over the winter. I really wasn't too confident in their first year together, because we've seen in the past, most teams in their first year working together, there's teething problems, but having that 1 year experience working with Toro Rosso, and you'd imagine that Red Bull would have had some kind of input with that relationship. I was very, very impressed with Max in that first half of the season. 2 victories, of course, one in Austria, just beat Charles Leclerc with a couple of laps to go. A little bit controversial, that victory, but then he did it again in Germany. Cracking job that weekend. Was the only driver, off the top of my head, that didn't make a mistake that entire weekend. What a drive from Max at Germany. And then just before the summer break, he finally got rid of that awful streak he was having of no pole positions, claiming it in Hungary over Lewis Hamilton, and what a battle we had between those two in Hungary. Wasn't the most flashiest of Grand Prix of the year. We didn't see lots of crashes, lots of strategy intrigue, but what we did see was 2 drivers, Hamilton, who is now a 6-time world champ, Vestappen, who you'd imagine is going to be world champ one day. Seeing those two go head-to-head at a circuit notorious for difficulty, I suppose, for overtaking, was brilliant to see. And I think Max, in that first half of the year, from my point anyway, was a real coming-of-age kind of start to the season. And going into that summer break, when I did my mid-season reviews, I gave him a 10 out of 10. Looking back on it now, with the season over, I don't think it was a 10 out of 10. And that first few races when he came back after the summer tainted his season a little bit, but on the whole, Max Verstappen has been very, very good in 2019. Looking at some of his statistics, 3 victories, those 2 in the first half of the year and just 1 in the second half of the year, coming a couple of races ago in Brazil, and what an incredible race that was for Max. 2 pole positions, kind of 3, but got that 1 in Mexico taken away, going too quick under the yellow flags, but also picked up that 1 in Hungary and Brazil. 278 points means he was 3rd in the championship, and as I just mentioned, his best quali is 2 pole positions and 3 race wins as his best results. His head-to-head battle, well, it's been a bit of a strange season for Max Verstappen. 2 teammates destroyed teammate Pierre Gasly in the first half of the season. 9-1 was the quali battle with Pierre Gasly. 8-1 was the quali battle with Alex Albon. The head-to-head racing is actually a little bit closer than I thought. 5 for Max, 4 for Alex. The point battle in the end was quite sizable, however, Alex did spend that first half of the season with Toro Rosso. And it's that second half of the season I'd like to touch on now, if that's okay with you. And just a heads up as well, all of these videos, depending on the driver, depending on the kind of season they had, will range between 5 to 10 kind of minutes. And Max, there's lots to talk about with the future star Max Verstappen. Well, current star, I think it's more than fair to say now, in modern Formula 1. But that second half of the year, coming back after the summer break, that Spa weekend, I think we all know what a awful weekend that was for everybody involved in Formula 1, whether you were at the circuit, whether you were just at home, whatever. What a dreadful weekend that was. But for Max, contact on the very first lap with Kimi Raikkonen, out of the race, the first time in over a year he didn't finish in the top 5, which was a statistic that we were all talking about going into that summer break. Following race, Monza had to start from the back of the grid thanks to an engine penalty. First corner, made a kind of avoiding action into the wall, lost his front wing, was able to carry on but still lost a heap of points. Then only a couple of races back in Mexico on the opening lap of the race, of course, already a little bit frustrated I'd imagine thanks to that penalty in qualifying. Contact with Lewis Hamilton, puncture, race pretty much over from lap 1. However, he did do quite a good comeback drive but still finished behind teammate Alex Albon, and I think that's what's tainted his second half of the year, because you look at drives, as I mentioned, like Hungary, you look at drives like Brazil. How good was that Brazil drive? For me, that was his best race of the season. You've also got drives like we saw in Suzuka, where he was punted off by Charles Leclerc in those opening stages, and what a brilliant comeback drive that was. And even the last race of the season in Abu Dhabi, okay, wasn't a flashy drive from Max, but when you consider the pace that Red Bull probably should have had at that circuit, when you consider the pace that car has had over the last few years in Abu Dhabi, to be on the level consistently of Lewis Hamilton after, I'd say, a good 10 or so laps of the Grand Prix, and okay, Lewis probably wasn't pushing 100%, but for Max to be comfortably in front of the two Ferraris, comfortably in front of his teammate, I think was a really strong drive and a really good end to the season. But it was just that blip in the middle which kind of has tainted it a little bit, but not a lot. It's been an incredible year for Max Verstappen, his highest ever finish in a Formula 1 season, 3rd overall, his highest tally of, well, points, but not only that, his highest tally of victories. He's finally picked up some pole positions, and I've said it earlier on, I really feel this is a massive coming-of-age season for Max Verstappen, and although it's his and Honda's first year working together, I just have that bit of confidence that next year, even though I don't think Red Bull will have the best car, I trust in Verstappen's abilities, and it wouldn't surprise me if he was fighting for the championship. Just like the summer break and our mid-season reviews, of course, I want to give each driver a rating out of 10. At the summer, I gave Max a 10. I'm going to finish the season with a 9. Slight room for improvement, but for sure, Max Verstappen's best ever season in Formula 1. The year Max Verstappen could potentially claim his first World Championship could be on the horizon. Tomorrow, our next driver review, so keep an eye out for that one. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new and you're just needing that Formula 1 fix at the moment. I know we're only a day into the winter, but blimey, it feels like a long time already. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.